Good morning, 8th grade math students. Today we are going to be talking about functions. Our objective for today is that students will be able to identify functions from a graph. Actually, we're going to do graph and tables. So we're going to be looking at different kinds of graphs, tables, ordered pairs, and we are going to determine if they are functions. So first things first, what is a function? A function is a rule that says that there's exactly one output for each possible input. So if you remember like X and Y tables, so X would be our input and Y would be our output. So for every input, there is exactly one output, meaning that our input numbers cannot be repeated. So we're going to first look at these three examples. So knowing that for one input, there's exactly one output. We look at our X values. So I have 18, 20, 12, 15. And are any of those numbers repeated? No, they're not. So if X is not repeated, then yes, it's a function. Now, for ordered pairs, remember X comes first, Y comes second. So essentially, this is still a table, right? So I have 3, 3, 17, and 3. Knowing what I said about inputs over here, is this one a function? No, it's not a function because we have 3, 3, and 3, and those 3s are with different numbers. So if 3 was with the same number, that gets a little tricky, but 3 is repeated, and there's more than one output for each input because 3 goes with 16, with 4, and 6. So on this one, same thing, except we're looking at a graph. So ordered pairs, we look at our X and we look at our Y. So this is our X-axis. So we look and see if any of our X's are repeated. Right here, I can do this by doing a vertical line test. So if I had a line and I drug it, I'm looking to see if my line would hit in more than one spot at all. And I would go through all of them. And look, it hits twice here, which means it's not a function. So if for every input there's exactly one output, it is a function. If X is repeated at all, it is not a function. Next one, I have my input here and my output. Is there more than one output for each input? Yes, there is, because 7 and 7, and 7 goes with 16 and 7 goes with 7. So this one is not a function. What about this ordered pair? Remember, I have X and Y, or my input and my output. Are any of my X's repeated? No. My Y's can be repeated. So Y, I have 18 and 18. It's okay for the Y to be repeated, but not for X to be repeated. So it's okay for the output to be repeated, but not the input. So this one, yes, it is a function. For this one, using what I said about the last one, if I draw a line through these points, I touch 3 points within the same X value. This X value would be -4. So -4 would go with 3, -3, and -4. So it is not a function. Next one, try these on your own. This first one, is it a function? Yes, it is. Because our X, there's exactly one output for each input. What about the second one? Is it a function? Yes, it is, because again, there's exactly none of my X numbers are repeated. What about for my Y? Is it a function? Sorry, number 3. This one, is it a function? No, it's not, because right here, it touches in the same spot twice. So that really concludes today's lesson. So we're just kind of getting our feet wet about what a function is. So if you have any questions, we will be spending a lot of time on functions. So this is just the introduction. So it's important that you understand this so that we can build on this for future lessons.